It was a great place to be, very lucky. I'm sustaining myself and supporting myself today based upon that partnership.
When you think back on your career and your life, you try to think of those things that you still have a nice and wonderful feeling about. I just take pride in how this firm is developed, where Greenberg Glusker is such a highly recognized firm, not only among other lawyers, but in the LA community itself.
As for the lawyers coming here, they have an environment where they can have a career. It's not just a job where they're going to get paid a lot of money and then leave in a few years. It's something where they can be here for the long term and at the same time work on the most sophisticated transactions.
Greenberg is like really a quintessential, substantial LA-based firm. We're well known here. We've got a good reputation here. We've got deep roots over here.
For all the clients that we represent, we do our best. We work ethically. We are conscious of the client's economic needs. We try to come up with practical solutions to problems. And I don't think there's any specific instance that exemplifies that over anything else that we do. That's just the way we conduct ourselves.
In part, it's because of the dedication of the people that are here. And I think that clients know that we're dedicated to them, and as a result, we have some very loyal clients.
You know, the way that people say that dog owners and their dogs start to look alike, or they kind of choose each other. I'm a big believer in clients choosing lawyers and a lawyer's practice kind of reflecting who they are. And I think our client base reflects who we are in that way. I think people are attracted to great lawyers who are very responsive and very thoughtful and supportive and kind.
This firm was built on 5 people that were like Fields, who I was with. You know, they were at the head of their class. You know, Art Greenberg was eminent in some entertainment, a lot of business work. Steve Klayman, the real estate lawyer, preeminent. Sidney Mochninger, who's an American institution as far as I'm concerned, and Phil Glusker. So they all had this kind of thing. And they understood that each person wanted to and needed to grow.
In terms of my capacity and desire, I did not see myself as a doctor. And the question is, what's the alternative? I didn't know much about business, but being a lawyer gave you a chance to do something. So I went to law school. I finished law school in the first class at the UCLA Law School in 1952. And I enjoyed it very much. And then came my practice. It developed. And here we are today. It's an amazing result.
The firm came about because in the 1950s, there were not a lot of opportunities for Jewish lawyers to practice in the major law firms in town. We've all learned here the story of Phil Glusker, who was offered a job at a major law firm downtown until they found out he was Jewish, and the offer suddenly disappeared. Irving Hill was a community leader. Arthur Greenberg was an up-and-coming community leader, and they created a law firm where Jewish lawyers who were denied opportunities somewhere else could come and practice.
I called Irving Hill, and Irving and Phil Glusker and I met several times for lunch at the farmer's market, and we decided to form a firm.
It was not at all inevitable that 3 lawyers getting together in 1959 would build a firm that would survive for 65 years, especially when Irving Hill, the most senior and the best known of the 3, went on the Superior Court bench within 2 years. And then the firm hired Steve Klayman, number 1 of his class at UCLA Law School. Sid Mochninger had left Pact Ross and was practicing on his own when Arthur or Phil called and said, "Why don't you come over here, we'll give you an office and we'll see how things work out." So these 4 extraordinary people found each other, understood that there was tremendous opportunity representing family companies, closely held companies, and the like in Los Angeles. And then we focused on what it is that makes Los Angeles unique. Obviously, the entertainment industry, obviously, real estate. There's tremendous wealth in West Los Angeles, which has enabled us to establish a family wealth estate planning practice. So we have focused our practice on what Los Angeles is and not on what other people from outside of the city think it should be. And in 1982, Bert Fields and his firm, Shearer, Fields & Shearer, joined us, and that put us on the map as an entertainment practice. We've added practices in a variety of other areas. And in 2012, we added 17 lawyers from across the street at Rutter, Hobbs & Davidoff, which really built our corporate practice and rebuilt our bankruptcy practice and added to our practices of employment law and litigation. Here we are, 105, 106 lawyers in Century City. Arthur still comes in the office almost every day. And Sid Mochtinger, who will be 102 in April, still comes in and has lunch a couple times a month. And we're still together. Our mission is to provide our clients with the best legal service we can provide them. I'm sure every law firm says that. We really believe it. We used to have a tagline. It was Greenberg Glusker, the counsel you keep.
I started with this firm a couple of years after I began my profession of real estate, and I had obtained a listing on a 7-acre property on Manhattan Beach Boulevard in Redondo Beach. And coincidentally, Steve drove past, saw my sign, took the number down, called me on the phone, and I figured, well, I'll go up and meet him. So that's when we first met. And we became very close friends and partners. That's how I met and adopted the firm as my legal firm.
The culture of caring about people and deeply caring about the practice of law and our clients and excellence in practice is the culture that we've always strived for. And that comes from the top. It can only be passed down from the more senior lawyers to the new lawyers. And they need to understand that's the expectation, just as I was told on my first day.
I like the practice of law. The practice is not so, exciting about the issues. To me, it was more about the people I met, the clients I met. And I've always liked working with people.
I think the firm has maintained its culture over time in large part because there's a lot of people who have spent their entire careers here. The people who have played leadership roles in the firm have been here a long time. What we learned as young lawyers back in the day is stuff that we still try to maintain within the firm. And a lot of us were involved in recruiting over the years. And so when we recruited people, we would often take into account, who do we think is going to fit in, who's going to maintain the type of culture that we wanted and that we had.
It's not unusual at this firm to have people that were summer associates and now they're partners. And I don't think you see that at a lot of places. I think that that's just a cornerstone of the firm. It's the counsel you keep, but it's also the place that you want to stay at.
The founders of the firm treated everybody they worked with as their colleague, not their employee, not their associates. I remember when I was working with Steve Klayman as a second-year associate, he never referred to me as his associate or somebody that works for him. It was always we work with each other.
I think a key component of what makes Greenberg Glusker is that everyone has an understanding of other people's needs within the firm. So it's never an environment where people are just looking out for themselves, but I feel like everyone truly wants to work for what's best for the firm and for our colleagues. It's
a one-office firm, which means that you can actually know everybody, and it makes it a really wonderful personal type place to work.
For me, the firm really, it means, I guess, satisfaction in my professional life because I really love what I do and I love the people that I do it with.
The more inclusive we are, the more diverse we are, the stronger we're going to be. And it's not something that's a 1-year thing or a 2-year thing. It's just something that you always need to be focused on. And inclusion and diversity results in strength and better service to our clients and reflects the outside world.
Our firm has participated in community activities from the very start. When you look at people like Sid Mochtinger and Arthur Greenberg, they are both pillars of the community. We really try to live up to the example of Arthur Greenberg and Sid Mochtinger and our other founding partners.
We've had a great formula that's worked for us for the last 65 years, and I think that same formula is gonna be the key going into the future.
To really focus on what made this firm special in the first place, which is the quality of the practice and the quality of the lawyers we attract, and really being careful about how we grow and not looking solely at financial issues, but really looking at the quality of the lawyers and the quality of the work that we're doing.
I hope they stay no larger than they presently are. I'm not particularly impressed by some of the brand names that hire 500 attorneys and they're scattered all over the country, etc. It's the individual that you work with that makes the difference.
The firm has to continue to add lawyers of competence and skill. And the lawyers are people who enjoy what they're doing, who love their work, who are challenged by the legal issues.
The more corporate the rest of the law firms in the world becomes, the more desirable it's going to be to get bespoke service from your lawyers that have been representing you for years and decades. I think that's the formula that's worked for us, and I expect it to continue in the future.
On the occasion of our 65th birthday, I'd really just like to say thank you. I'd like to say thank you to my colleagues, both attorney and staff, who have enabled me to build a career here, enabled the firm to become prosperous here, and have enabled us to serve our clients, and to the clients who've given us the opportunity to be of service.
My career has exceeded all my expectations, and I owe that to the firm. I mean, I think one thing that we've always done is given people the opportunity to do more than practice law. I have 2 kids, and I've always been able to enjoy their lives growing up and being a father, and at a lot of firms that wouldn't have been possible.
The one thing I'm virtually certain of is very few law firms would have allowed a third-year associate to say, you know what, I'd like to try coaching basketball.
Well, my career is the firm. I mean, I came to the firm with nothing, and now I have something, and it's because of the firm and because of what the firm afforded me and the clients that I was introduced to.
What makes a great law firm? And, I think that most of the people here, most people have been here, and most of the people that have left here, the love of the law is really what's important. I mean, Art Greenberg loves the law. Bert Fields loves the law. I love the law. Other people do. And that kind of spirit, I think, creates a thriving legal environment to work in and expand and enjoy yourself.
Having those 5 gentlemen at a firm of this size, each one a titan in the industry, is stunning. Just stunning, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
I'm really thankful for the founding partners for having found this place and maintained the culture, and the subsequent leaders who have come afterwards that have maintained the culture.
I really feel that it's incumbent upon my generation and the generations to come, and why it's very important that we continue this legacy. And we've been very fortunate in having been given the tools and the mentorship and the leadership in prior years to have this firm continue its legacy indefinitely.
I take a lot of pride in seeing the firm so highly regarded, having so many wonderful people in it, men and women, and that I was part of the very beginning of this firm.
I had no idea of the firm progressing to the point where it is today. We were a small firm. We started with 3, ended up with 4 or 5, and it just grew in its own course. We practiced law, and people came to us. We added them onto the firm, and the firm grew. It was beyond my comprehension to envision the firm today. It made life very pleasant here. I have no complaints about my life here at Greenberg Glusker. It was a great place to be. Very lucky. We did very well.